Welcome in to the Monday morning edition of Coffee and Chel. And I just want to say, I was doing some reflecting this weekend, and we're going to get into Hut and the Landon Dupont situation and all of that. But this is probably going to be a longer episode for a couple reasons. One, like I said, I've been doing a lot of reflecting, and I was looking over my channel, and what is so funny to me is that these videos, the Coffee and Chel videos specifically, have become my favorite thing to make. And a couple and some other crazy things about it is actually they are my best performing videos, and not from a view standpoint, but like revenue and watch time and all of that. And it's so funny to me because they essentially require the least amount of effort compared to all of my other videos. It's literally just me hitting record and then saying a piece, going over the gaming news in terms of Hockey Ultimate Team, and then just talking about random subjects. And I think part of me, when it comes to content, what's so funny in my time of being a creator is that the creators that last are the ones that just do the thing they enjoy doing the most for the longest period of time, because you can't fake that. Okay, so like what I mean by that is if you go back through my channel and you'll see a couple random series where I'm doing like franchise mode, for example. While I love doing franchise mode, I don't like editing and making those videos. And then eventually it just becomes work and I don't feel like doing it, right? Whereas when you lock in and find the thing that you enjoy doing, and it's not the result, okay? So Coffee and Chel is my best performing videos now on my channel. It's the A to B getting there that is the most enjoyable. It's easy for me. I really enjoy it. I love the conversation that it sparks. And boy, do I have some thoughts in regards to this whole Landon Dupont thing. So I just want to say thank you for everyone that watches these videos. They are the most fun for me, and I'm not going to stop them because I just enjoy them. So as long as you guys will keep yapping with me and listening and commenting, this is just it's been a pleasant surprise when it comes to creating content. Something that I have been doing for a very long time. When January 1st, 2026 hits, it'll be 9 years since I uploaded my first NHL video, which is kind of scary because I can't believe I've been doing this for almost a decade. Anyways, Landon Dupont. All right, so the new next-gen event dropped. If you've been listening to Coffee and Chel over the last few weeks or months, I guess just last week, I mentioned that I think it's probably the next-gen event. I said that I hope that it's not. And the reason why I said I hope that it's not is because I knew what would happen. This event, the writing was on the wall. I knew that judging how the face-off event worked, where we got our first +6 overall line boost, and that blew our minds, but it was super specific. You needed Jack Eichel, we all fell hook, line, and sinker, and my Market Monday video, which will come out later today, showed that those prices for those face-off cards dropped, 80% in 3 weeks, right? Because new combos came out. So then the Beast Mode event dropped. Unbelievable event top to bottom. And we got a ton of more new line combinations, and the +6s were so easy to hit, right? Will Smith, McKinnon, Kucherov, all buildable. We didn't have to rely on anyone else to get that card. Like, we didn't need to accidentally luck into making Logan Cooley, for example, which if you did, or Clayton Keller, I always mix those two up. You didn't have to do that. So it was a great event. I love the Beast Mode event. And I knew that because of the increasing ease in getting these big line combos, there's only 2 weeks left. Line combos are resetting. And I knew that they would go a soft 99 overall. And that's exactly what happened. We got line combinations that allow cards to hit essentially, technically 99 overall if you go Zane, Parekh, and Dupont, but that's two righties. But even if you didn't want to do that, it's still the +10 with Nikishin and Dupont. That got all of the skating to 99. The stats that we care about can get to 99, right? And I want to talk about that because I think they have mastered their content structure in terms of the excitement. Oh my God, +10. And again, a lot of the loud minority of the hardcore player base is like, man, we have 99s in October. What is this? Or November. What is this crap? We are the loudest and passionate part of the fan base. We are not the majority. We represent the smallest portion of the player base. And you want a perfect example? They released a pack in the store, which they have not done before, they've released packs, where 40% chance of pulling a card that you can only get in packs, which was pretty incredible. Because if they had released Landon Dupont in a pack the way they released Ovi, how many people are going to see the milestone Ovi? Like 5? He's just not pullable. He's very, very rare. And he isn't in a pack that where you have significant odds to pull him. He's just super rare. If they released Landon Dupont like that, it wouldn't have been enough of a driver to get a lot of people to spend money. It would, from a business standpoint. Or coins even. Let's say coins. However, you make a pack that's 40%. The auction house in the hour after that pack dropped, I talked about this a number of times. Something that I couldn't understand about the Hockey Ultimate Team content team specifically was that in the store, packs are never worth spending money on. You'll still get people to buy stuff because it's a gotcha game, and that is, people want to sacrifice time for money, which I understand, or money for time. There's never packs where it's like, man, that's the one. That is the clear pack you got to get. There really isn't any of those right now. You release a pack where it's 40% chance to pull a card that you can get up to 99 overall. Dude, there was over 150 Landon Duponts in the store an hour and a half after the 5 p.m. release. And you can go on and say that people that spend money ruin the game or whatever. Enough, myself included, because that means that there is enough value for people to deem okay to spend their money. And I stress this a lot, that if you have an excess amount of money or money where you are comfortable, there is no problem with spending it. There is no problem with spending it in Hockey Ultimate Team. There is no different than someone who smokes and buys cigarettes, or someone who goes out drinking and it isn't an event. It's literally just going out and having a couple drinks. It's the exact same thing. That's where you get your enjoyment. No one should judge that, right? But the people that don't have, my fear is that gaming as a whole for younger players, it is not something that they know how to control, where people don't have enough money, they're using their credit card and they have a negative balance and they're still spending it because they see a card. It's like, oh my God, I got to have that. And that's what's tough, but that's the industry as a whole, which goes on to my whole other topic of today's episode. But let's talk about the good and bad about Landon Dupont, okay? I went all in on the Beast Mode event. I said it a number of times during my actions going all in. I know I'm going to regret it. And God, I sat there on Friday frustrated because as a content creator, I should have Landon Dupont. It's embarrassing that someone who plays the game full time cannot go out and get the best cards or the most hyped cards immediately. But my whole gimmick is not spending money. It is helping players that don't want to spend money have an easier time at the game. And if you do spend money, then if you include my tips, you're going to make it like a band. You're not going to waste time or money, or you're going to waste less of it. Sorry. And I sat there and I'm just like, I can't acquire this Landon Dupont card without money. And then I sat there, I didn't say it, but I was like, man, do I just spend money? And in that moment, I realized they did it. They have figured out the formula, just like MLB has and Madden has, that is going to extract the most amount of money and engagement and excitement in the Hockey Ultimate Team community until we get bored of this format, until we are done, and that might be years from now. Because what we had before was a new event dropped, and if the next gen event just came out right now, if you looked at the event cards and there were synergies, not line combinations, none of these cards are that exciting. The only cards you're making are Schaefer and Demidov because they have a chance to win the Calder. That's it. And no one's making Nikishin with 85 speed and 86 XL. They have figured it out. Whether you want to admit it or not, myself included, I'm going to give them props. They figured it out. And, for the hardcore consumer that does not want to spend money, and most of us that are so against spending money in the game, I'm going to make a generalization here. You're probably over 30 like myself, because when we enjoyed video games, we didn't have to spend money in the game. And it's like going against what we think a good video game should be, but that's Ultimate Team. That is it. And if, again, you want to argue that it doesn't work and it's going to push your player base away, there was 150 Landon Duponts in the auction house. That doesn't include the people that pulled those packs that A, didn't pull anything, but B, also the ones that did pull and just put them on their team. Right, guys? Like that doesn't include it. The fact that there's 150 an hour after the pack dropped shows that the people like me complaining that, that everything's about money and all this. Like, it doesn't matter because it works. It just works, and you just have to accept it. And I've talked about this over the last like week or so, that like HUT just in its current form is like, it's not for me how I normally play the game. So because I'm still going to play the game, I got to figure out my way. And a lot of people are going to be like, theme teams or not caring about the new cards and all of that. You also have to take into account that I'm a content creator. The most fun I have when I'm like most locked in is when I drop all of my stuff to make a new team, like, or team building as a whole, which I think they have nailed this year. I really do think that team building is the best it's ever been with line combos. And yes, you can say that we have 99s in October. It's only for 2 weeks. It is only for 2 weeks. And then that's gone. And everyone that dropped all of their resources to get Landon Dupont immediately, FYI, if you spent 300K, which is how much the pack was, 300K looked like a good buy, he's now going for like 110,000 coins. Because the people that hardcore play this game understand that card's going away. It's an 88 overall, and I actually think that it's probably going to be more expensive, like 150K when the event is done, because it's an 88 overall. Like, it's not like it's a bad card. It just doesn't fit line combos probably when the new stuff resets, right? But that being said, like, I do think that it's good that it's only for 2 weeks. Like I said, I think they've nailed it because they knew that they could not do what MLB did over the last 2 years, where, again, I talk about MLB a lot, but you can see what they are trying to do. MLB tried to reinvent Ultimate Team, and it doesn't work. They tried to reinvent Ultimate Team. They went from base cards in a 6 week, or let's say a 70-day span, went from base cards to 99 overall. The new season kicked over, and all of those season 1 cards you could not use, and they went right back to 87 overall being the base cards. And then you would go to 99 again. And what it did was, because it's a year-long game, you only have it for 1 year, you exhaust the player base to the point where people are like, nah, I'm done. I'm not chasing, I'll wait for the 99s, right? Because you know that they will come out, and MLB does a great job offering free ways to get 99s, right? What NHL is doing is, like I said, I hate giving them this much credit because it feels so dirty. This is the perfect way. You have line combinations that people will chase after, which makes the cards exciting, which makes the content exciting, and then it resets, and it's not like those cards are completely useless, right? Like, Landon Dupont's 88 will go from a 99 to an 88 overall, and it's still an 88 overall. I would be willing to bet that when the line combos reset, we have no idea what that's going to look like, but I would be stunned if +3 is not the most that cards can go. And then we do it again, right? And I'm saying that they have figured it out right now, but we haven't seen what happens when a season kicks over, and maybe we do feel that exhaustion to the point where everyone disappears like MLB did. Because I thought that they followed the Tarkov format. I talk about Tarkov a lot because it's a game I love. Tarkov resets essentially twice a year. And you would think that, man, why would you work so much just for everything to reset? I can't explain it. I don't know why it works. It's so good because everyone likes starting over and everyone on the same playing field. And then the chase back up is the most fun. It's a perfect example of, it's easier to get to the top than it is to stay at the top. And while that's talking about like just challenges in general in life, it's also the hardest part when you're at the top is trying to find new ways to keep things exciting. Because while you're going through the chase, there's an easy thing to see, like the excitement is the climb, right? In progression. That's why Ultimate Team's always worked. So when it comes to Dupont and the line combos, I would suspect that we get another bunch of line combos that get other cards up to 99 overall. But then it resets. So let's talk about the bad. That comes with, the good is 99s overall, super exciting cards, awesome. It kind of sucks that they're only in packs, but they made it in packs at such a high pullable rate that enough people pulled them that you can get Landon Dupont for 120,000 coins, right? I think that's probably worth it. The bad is, if you don't have resources, you can't get them. Like, you just don't get to partake in Landon Dupont. And that's a frustrating part. Again, but I've learned that this is all about learning. It's a new content team, completely new content structure, entirely new team build format that I went all in on the Beast Mode event, and I don't regret it in that sense. As a content creator, I kind of regret it, but I like being the example so that you guys can like see, right? Like, let's be the test subject. So for anyone out there that doesn't have Landon Dupont like myself, I might buy him by selling everything throughout the next 2 weeks and then getting him because I think that again his price might go back up because he is a Canadian. So I'm sure there will be a line combo that includes a Canadian defenseman. I think it'll be interesting to see if if getting that card, but ranked in champs, seeing Nikishin and Dupont, I'm like, man, I don't really want to play against that, and I guess it's okay. You take a couple week break. And I think maybe that's like what I'm trying to learn because I'm fighting this like friction of like, I got to play every single day. It's my job. So I'm going to play every single day. And I don't, me complaining about having to play every single day is mostly because like, I'm just not enjoying or I'm having a hard time finding how I fit in Hut. Not the actual, I get to play video games for a living. Please, for anyone new, I'm not complaining that I play video games for daily because of work. I'm blessed to do that. But yeah, like I just can't take part in it. So that for 2 weeks, I said this in my No Money Spent video, I'm going to make Demidov and I'm going to make Matthew Schaefer. And that's it, probably. Because I think those cards are guaranteed to get the 96 overall. I also really like Matthew Schaefer. If you've been following me since the draft, I've watched Matthew Schaefer his entire OHL career doing work for the Ice Dogs. I watched him play, I want to say like 7 times against the Ice Dogs in person. And in his draft year before he got hurt, I saw him at the Meridian Center, I think twice. And it was the only player better at skating than Kevin He, who was voted on by every general manager and coach as the best skater in the OHL the last 2 years. And it was like, wow, he is going to be good. Exactly what the Sharks needed. And if the Sharks got Schaefer and not Misa, the rebuild's probably over. If you've been following the NHL, the Sharks look incredible right now. They're playing a little bit above. Macklin Celebrini is Nathan McKinnon. Like that, I think that's the comp, not McDavid. God, I hate when people are comparing generational players with just good. Bedard and Macklin are Kucherov and McKinnon, not McDavid. I hate when people do that. Like, throw around the generational tag way too much. Maybe Ovechkin and Crosby, but it's way too early to deem that. We're talking about the greatest goal scorer of all time and arguably a Mount Rushmore player in Sidney Crosby. So, the last thing I want to talk about is, again, this is like about the games industry because I've really been going down this rabbit hole and I've been watching people that are like-minded, so in their 30s, and they've got gaming channels and they discuss things going on in news when it comes to gaming. And I stumbled upon this channel called Legendary Drops, and I'll put the link down below. I'm just gonna make sure I remember to do that. And he was talking about how Steam basically beat all of the other gigantic companies like Amazon and Activision and all of that. And in that video, he goes on to explain what's happening in the gaming industry. And it was just like such an aha moment and why I think I'm struggling so much with just finding enjoyment in video games when, I mean, my arm has 2 Pokemon already on it. The rest of my tattoo sleeve will be all video games because it is the most fun and some of the biggest parts of my childhood. Whether you want to say that's lame or not, I don't give a shit. It's stuff that I enjoyed my entire life and I'll continue to enjoy. But he talks about specifically going over what like Xbox, Microsoft, and Amazon, when their CEOs and people that lead the industry are saying now about video games. And one of the things and the biggest talking points of his video was that all of the gaming CEOs say that they're not competing against each other in the games industry. They're competing against social media for the gamers' attention. And when he went in and said that, it like blew my mind because as someone who grew up in the golden era of video games, whether you want to say that Tetris and Pong was the best, all right, stop. 2000 to 2010 is the greatest era of video games because no one had any idea. It was all brand new territory. It was not figured out. We had some of the best RPG and story mode games of all time. We had some of the best early editions of multiplayer ever established, and a lot of it's nostalgia, but there's a reason why that remakes of games made in that era do so well, right? Like they are just the best. And when you look at it now, social media back then was basically A to B. So Facebook or MySpace, you like followed your friends. You didn't see the outside noise. News was still delivered from news stations. Social media now is a feed and it's all the world, right? You're not basically stuck in your ecosystem of who you follow and who it's you're force fed everything, right? So you know everything no matter what. And when you look at social media and why social media dominates, our attention spans are smaller, fast, ever changing, modes like in video games, right? If you think about the games that do the best, like Fortnite and stuff that's like it's crazy colors and constant explosions and just trying to get your brain to just be like can't sit still for 5 seconds, right? Um, the constant chase of something better. So when we play a video game, we don't just play the game, we then get a little bit of an interest in it, dive in, and then we're looking on YouTube. We're looking on TikTok. We're looking on Instagram. We're looking on Twitch. How do we get better at this game, right? It's a constant chase. Social media, if you're someone who enjoys fitness, you are blasted with how to get a six-pack and just the constant shame of not having that. Right? I'm using this as a generalization, but that's an example of it, why social media dominates, because it is constantly meant to feel like you can do better when like you really don't need to. And video games are the same thing. You're always chasing the new thing. Social media is that. There is always going to be a trend, something that goes viral, a new product, a new game, a new something. There will always be something to chase on social media. And in video games, it's like we're looking for the next big game. And then the problem is that we get hyper obsessed with it, spikes our dopamine where we get all this excitement, all this overload. And the problem with dopamine is that it numbs us out. And we're not going to get the same enjoyment the longer that we play it. It's like this big, huge wave up and down, and then the wave comes up a little bit, and then it goes down a little bit, and then it's just flatline. And for a lot of you, like myself, who've been playing Hut for 7 to 8 years, we're at the point. We're at the flatline point in Hockey Ultimate Team, right? And then, that one big game, like the problem why gaming can't compete with social media is because when we get sick of a game, it might take 2 years. It takes a year or maybe 8 months for an Ultimate Team game to really be like, okay, this is just, I'm out. Mostly when the sport stops playing, like their season or their championship has been awarded. No sports game does better after the season is done, right? Like none of them do. In MLB, NBA, Madden, all of it doesn't matter, right? Whereas in social media, you just scroll. I'm bored of this thing. Next. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like this topic. Bang, next. It will never be able to compete with the attention of social media. And I think that is the biggest issue with game companies, is that we're chasing this crazy attention, like highway that we'll never be able to get to. And what it's left me doing is like, I asked this the other day, I'm like, I'm looking for my game. And I've been thinking a lot about like, okay, what game do I really feel like playing? But for whatever reason, because I know that it's not new, or that it doesn't offer the same kind of reward. Like, I keep thinking about playing Mass Effect over again. Mass Effect is my second favorite game series of all time, right behind Metal Gear, right? And even trying to play Metal Gear, by the way, where it's all story mode, it's very linear, and I get bored of Metal Gear now. I played the new Metal Gear that came out, and I was pretty bored about 5 hours in, and it pissed me off that I was bored because I knew that it was such a good story. And for whatever reason, that doesn't do it enough anymore. And, that's because of how we receive content and how we find enjoyment in video games, things like that. Here's something you want to test of what happens playing old games and the difference of your attention span now in video games. I want you guys to do this. This is an example that I know personally. I'm sure there's a million other ones, okay? As you guys know, I'm a giant Pokemon fan. It came out when I was 8 years old. It was the entirety of my childhood. I will never not play Pokemon. I'll be 70 years old still playing Pokemon, okay? I started playing Fire Red, okay? Again, on a DS Lite. I was like, okay. I did it when I was going to bed. Very easy, handheld, whatever. I was playing it. 30, 40 minutes in, playing it late at night, I was exhausted. It did not fire my attention span because it's not constantly changing colors, blasting you with just excitement always. It's pretty dull and laid back. And there's other video games like it. But I want you to think about when you sit down at night, okay, and your kids are asleep and you've done all of your chores and whatnot, and now you go to you're gonna go sit down and play Battlefield. Great game. Battlefield's awesome. Constantly with the feeling of like, yo, is the loadout I'm using optimized? Is the gun I'm using good? Oh, I just went on an 0-5 streak. Better lock in. Like, it's constantly trying to keep your attention span so that you stay playing it longer. That's what it's engineered to do. Oh, a battle pass? I'm almost there, but I don't think I'm going to have enough time to do it. Better spend my money to get it, right? Which, again, isn't a bad thing. There's times where that is useful and helpful. It isn't what I enjoy or we enjoyed as older gamers. You go back and play Pokemon right now. Let's say you enjoyed playing Pokemon when you were a kid, a teenager, even in your early 20s. Go and try it. Go and try and playing one of the Game Boy Advance or even like Scarlet and Violet on a I would say that if you play Scarlet and Violet, that's a lot more of the new color, flashy moves, all of that. I'm talking about the old Game Boy Advance games. You will get tired and be like, I got to go to bed. And it blew my mind when I realized that's the difference. And I think that as a gamer, I'm looking for a game that I can play to relax and enjoy myself without the constant need of chasing something. My brain is just being blasted with colors and like farming my engagement, right? And it was peaceful. But I don't always want to play Pokemon. But again, this rant has gone on 30 minutes. Told you this episode would be longer. Something I'm passionate about. Again, go watch that video. If you are like me and you are frustrated with Hockey Ultimate Team or video games in general, and you don't know why you can't just let this game go and watch that Legendary Drops video on the gaming industry. And it was eye-opening. Anyways, 30 minutes in, I'm not going to just end it. We're going to get to your comments and questions. All right. So this is from the last episode. I'll sort by, I already went through my likes, but we'll do we'll sort by response status, responded. There we go. All right. So I appreciate this episode. We don't talk enough about work, life, sleep balance, and the addiction aspect of Hutton Gaming. Something I've been struggling with at times. Appreciate you all. You do. Again, these topics are exciting to me, and I apologize if they're not exciting to you. I know a lot of you just come for me to talk about Hockey Ultimate Team, but I like to think that I cultivated an audience that's somewhat like-minded and like enjoys the topics. And maybe that's my ego being like, everyone wants to talk about what I wanted to talk about. But it's something I've been passionate about lately. And 100% the feeling, even when I'm streaming in the afternoon playing Hut, because that's what I have to do. And I do enjoy that still. There's games where I'll literally I don't freak out because I'm a man, I'm an adult. I don't need, if you're freaking out in front of people, you got to lock in. Especially if you're a parent. So if you ever see me playing ranked, I'll be like, well, that's unfortunate. I'm very mild-mannered, but every once in a while, you can't see me just taking the armrest and just wanting to rip this thing off my chair. But I don't show it on camera, but it's below, and it's happening. And I'm just like, man, I got to go do something else. And then I, play Cup Chase or talk with my chat for a while. Slaves, I was driving to work this morning listening to your show when I heard my comment from the other day. Thanks so much. I didn't expect that. I admit, sadly, that I've gone from a no money spent team to spending money. I like playing ranked and champs, and I find it very hard to compete with a team that I don't have a lot of time to build. Spending a few bucks seems to be my only way with keeping a competitive team due to the time I have to play. Earning a card has so much more value than buying one. I can say that for sure. I like grinding for cards personally, like I did with Draisaitl. I spent a few hours getting his card and sacrifice playing ranked and champs. You do what you have to do to enjoy this game. This is my hobby. 100% agree, man. Like, I don't want it to sound like I am so against people that spend money. I am not. Because I don't, it's because the majority of my audience doesn't spend money. A lot of you guys, I can't remember. I would love to see the number of players that actually spend money in Hut. It's not a ton, but the people that do spend a lot, and it's becoming more and more. And like I said, they're engineering the perfect way to get you to feel like you got to spend money. It's not so much like if you don't spend money, you will lose. This thing is pretty obtainable. Maybe spend 20, 30 bucks. It's getting the people on the edge to fall over, and they are becoming masters at it. And I don't know if maybe that improves the game, because it won't, because it goes to EA's umbrella and all that money's just going to go right back into FIFA, but that's a topic for another conversation. I think what you hit on about how you earn a card feeling it's more, you get more of a enjoyment from that. I think trying to learn to untrain my brain that I got to have the best stuff is always going to be a battle, because we're surrounded by it. We are forced via YouTube, Twitch, online play that if you don't have the best cards, you suck. And it's like, man, but no, I don't. It's just like, I can do just fine without that, right? And that's very hard to untrain your brain from. Happy Friday. Positive side of things. Like you said, Sleeves, MSPs will have more longevity. We'll be switching up lines every couple weeks or so. Love that you can grind Team of the Week objectives and other quests in Cup Chase. NHL 26 has been awesome, but again, grindy. What isn't, though? 100% agree. We can argue and complain all we want about how we have to grind so hard to get stuff. If we're still doing it, it means that it's doing enough. And that shouldn't be I want to be clear here. That does not mean we should just accept that. We should not have criticisms and explain that this makes me feel so bored and I hate doing it. Then that's something where you should step away, right? And if you step away, if they did that pack and Landon Dupont did not get bought and there was 5 Landon Duponts in the store, guess what happened, guys? They don't do this again, right? I'm using that as an example. There are sets and things that are done in the background that the loud minority might argue and hate. But if the sets in the background for the people that play the game, that we don't represent their voice, if they're doing it, then they're going to keep doing the same things. The only change is completely stepping away or not participating in the thing that you don't like. That's it. And the Beast Mode event, for example, awesome. So good. So good. From a no money spent standpoint, even from a spending money standpoint, like if you didn't have enough, I really don't think you need to spend money to get a lot of MSPs. Yo, I mentioned dashboarding back when CMG Eichel became relevant because it worked for me. I currently got a couple of random Team of the Week, Beast Mode, and Milestone packs sitting in my inbox. Definitely the way to go. Recently turned 40 and agree with the golden age of gaming. In my adulthood, I believe a great example of the perfect game, dude, this made me so sad, was Vanilla Destiny. I read this comment earlier this morning, and I was like, damn, the last game that I felt so obsessed with, so much so that it completely changed my life, was Vanilla Destiny. For anyone that doesn't know, and that might sound over the top and ridiculous, I would not be here. You would not be watching me without Vanilla Destiny. The entire reason I became a content creator was because I became so obsessed with Destiny 1. And it had so many flaws. So many. The story in Destiny 1 Vanilla is one of the biggest comedies of storytelling, I think, in gaming history. But it was just done. The game felt so good, despite its flaws. I legitimately would go to work and go to Reddit and go to articles and obsess with it. So much so that I was on Reddit Destiny and was like, who are these guys on Twitch? What is this Twitch back in 2014, 2015? And that is how I found King Gathalion and Professor Broman, both people that I have gotten to meet and partner with their company, King's Coast, and hang out with at conventions and go out to dinner with, all because of Destiny. And I think it's so funny that might be the perfect game. And I think that we're all just waiting for that next thing. And I think the games industry is just trying to keep our attention that they're not. It's Grand Theft Auto. It simply is Grand Theft Auto, and I'm okay with it being delayed because I want it to be Vanilla Destiny. It is Grand Theft Auto. Sorry, I'm so deep in my thoughts in this episode. The reason why I wanted to bring up that, other than that sad last line, the choice packs, guys. I think anytime that they offer a choice pack, whether it's Team of the Week, an event, whatever, save it. If you want to have the best possible thing, if the card in those packs when you get the pack does not immediately impact your team, dashboard. What I mean by dashboard is you hit the middle button. So on PlayStation, you hit this button, right? You close the game while you're in the pack selection screen. Like while you can make your choice, do that, close the game, relaunch it. That pack stays in your inbox and the contents don't change. That's how you do it. That is, I'm sure they're going to find a way to get rid of that. But for NHL 26, that's it. That is how you get the Artem Zub or the Eichel or the whatever Team of the Week card that specifically fits this crazy +9 bonus. That's how you do it. If you do not need the card immediately, dashboard and leave them all in your inbox. I've got some beast mode ones. I have Swayman as an option, and I'm thinking that like once season 2 drops, if there's a Boston Bruins goalie or something that I could use, awesome. Thank you for mentioning the Wild. We are a huge fan base in this game, and we've gotten nothing. We're due for a banger in season 2. I'm very curious. They were so central division heavy with line combos and content. And then the XP path was all like Pacific Division outside of or was it all Pacific Division? I think it was all Pacific Division. I think we're going to get like Atlantic Division. Because when you look at the line combos, there's not a lot of like, unless I'm misremembering, there's not a lot of like forward line combos that are like heavy on Atlantic Division. I don't know what they did this year, but I've honestly been having more fun with team building than I do with the actual gameplay. I just like looking over all the line combos and trying to find lesser known powerful lines. I can't really bear to play more than 3 games in a single setting anymore, though. Funny name, Melatonin. I'm going to hazard a guess you're over 30. And again, generalization here. You're like me, like the building of the line combos in your team and work and just going, not even making the changes, but finding ones. That's the most fun I'm having right now. And I think that's because we enjoy the chase aspect. Like, that's like an old video game. It's like, oh, here's the new stuff to go. Here's the new more powerful equipment. Go and grind it out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with you. HUD is the best it's been, guys. Complaints aside, I truthfully think that Hockey Ultimate Team is the best it has been. Top to bottom, gameplay is a complete other topic. You're never going to appease everybody, but I enjoy this version of HUT more than I have since I started creating content. I'm trying to think, like, I think the under 22 event and then the power up structure was probably the last time that HUT had a feeling like this. And then what'll happen, guys? This will get old. The line combo system in NHL 28, we are going to complain about and hate. And then the cycle will continue. As far as XP path cards and making tokens, that's what I did. I watched a creator video early on, and they added up the total for a full season. I looked at what the packs were giving and decided the tokens were the play. Just like the Beast Mode cards, you can power them up and down, play with salary, and use the ones that fit combos. I ended up getting enough to do 3 of them to upgrade fully. Was so much more worth it than versus a couple 81 cards. 100%. I'm going to look at the rewards for Season 2 in the XP path. What he's talking about is I talked about this a week ago because of someone in my comment section mentioning this. Making tokens in NHL 25 was one of the worst values because the XP cards were great, but there was no line combo. So they were just like they were just another like 90 overall card when there's way better cards to chase after. With the line combo system, an 85 is worth the same as a 95 potentially, right? That's a over exaggeration, but you get the point. I'm going to look at Season 2, and I'm going to look at the packs available because the packs were awful value. Like, I think I got like 581 overalls, and sometimes I had an 83, and sometimes I had 81. 5 cards total. No. So, I'm going to look at the tokens, do the math, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, because if you have Will Smith for the +6 line, you could also use Vince Dunn with the Kraken and Captain card and get a +5 overall boost with Roman Josi. That's crazy value. And you just need enough tokens to make 2. The Star of the Month 86 pack isn't a choice pack, and that seems crazy. It's 2 cards. We should be able to pick. I do think for Season 2, they may want to keep Team of the Week, but maybe tune it down. Same with Game Breaker. I feel like they should keep a single line combo that keeps 1 each event. Or do a line combo of 3 event cards like Face Off, Beast, and Check My Game, so they stay relevant. 100% agree. Again, this is them engineering you to spend more of your resources and money. And it sucks for the normal consumer, this part. So what he's talking about is the Kiefer Sherwood and Josh Morrissey. There is no reason why they shouldn't be able to offer us the option between who we want. The reason why they do that is so that they protect themselves from being like, no one's going to make Sherwood, everyone's going to make Morrissey. We don't want everyone to make the same card, so we're going to put Schaefer or Sherwood in. And then when you get Kiefer Sherwood when you didn't want him, you're going to be like, okay, I got to put him in my lineup. Okay, but he doesn't fit any line combo. What line combos fit with Kiefer Sherwood? Oh, this MSP or another card for 70,000 coins? I'll buy that. If you just got Josh Morrissey, everything's solved. You're not chasing the engagement to make that card fit. It's a business tactic. This one stinks. Like, there should be a way to get us to spend money and resources and allow us to choose the card we want. The only way to do that is to make both cards equally crazy. Here's a thought. You release a line combo that makes Josh Morrissey absolutely insane. Take a look at the popular cards. You know the amount, you have stats that run in the background showing you how much of the player base has specific cards. You can see that. Then go and make a line combo that fits Kiefer Sherwood. If it's as good as the one with Morrissey, people are going to be like, okay, I'll make him, but I'm going to make him. That's what you should be doing. Not removing the fact that it's a choice pack because everyone's going to pick the same one because we define the meta. Make it so we got to make a choice. The Gallery of Greats event. The Gallery of Greats event was one of the best events because everyone's card was unbelievable. We had to make hard choices. Everyone had different Gallery of Greats cards. Some people went with Messier. Some went with Yzerman. Some went with Brett Hull. Some went with Sakic. Best event because all of the choices were roughly similar. And you make the line combos. You can decide what ones we want to chase after. Like, you do it already. You did it with Dupont. Do it with all the other stuff. God damn it. I hadn't experienced burnout yet because I only play when Team of the Week objectives come out, and I only play champs. If I don't complete all event and Team of the Week objectives during champs, I play a couple Superstar Cup chases. In other days, I just play other games like AC Shadows and Ghost of Yotei. I think it's Yotai. I don't remember how to say that game. Dude, I'm with you, man. You are one of the luckiest gamers because your mentality is what everyone's mentality is, but not everyone has the ability to be like, that's enough, I'm done. I'm only doing something if I enjoy it. You don't have addiction. And that might be an over-the-top word, but that is literally what's happening. Like, we are addicted to it. The game is engineered to have us addicted to it. You're one of the lucky few. You're one of the lucky few because this is it. You want to know the problem? You don't make EA money. Right? Like, that's it. Like, that's the problem with the game. I don't know if it's just me, but right now I'm in maintenance mode, waiting for Season 2 to spark my interest again. The thing about Season 2 that has me excited is, God, it is going to be so much to unpack that it'll be exciting. There's no way around it. The way that they are delivering content this year is unlike any other HUT game we've ever had. If you think that content isn't that great, go and look at what happened when Season 1 dropped and tell me that you didn't feel something. If you didn't, HUT's not for you. That's fine. But for the 99% of the player base that's still playing, Season 2, we're going to get like 6 new icons, multiple heroes, rookies, captain cards, which means new team builds. Line combos are resetting, which will obliterate everyone's team. And again, I think that's going to cause exhaustion and push people away more than it's not. But it's like the game is new again, sort of. And we'll see. We'll see what... I'm so excited to see what happens. The fallout as well. What is the speculation about salary cap in Season 2? Anyone think it'll get a natural boost or just line combos? Interesting. I don't know if they're going to go the salary cap boost of the line combos, which would kind of suck because then they're dictating if you don't have this line combo, then your salary cap, you're just stuck. I would anticipate it goes up by like 10 million. And that might not sound like a lot, but I think it would be about 10 to 15 million. That's my guess. Last question I want to go over. I feel like I'm crazy because the line combo reset is exciting to me. I have so many 85s just sitting in my collection unused. This will be fun. Everyone is going to look at the fact that, oh my God, all of the cards I have in my lineup right now are not usable. But if you go and look at your collection, there's going to be so many cards, and maybe there won't be, but there will be a lot of cards from the hardcore player base that are like, oh my God, I have this. Awesome. Pasta is a perfect example. The Check My Game event Pasta. If there is a Boston Bruin, triple Boston Bruin line, Pasta becomes 100% usable again. And it's like, oh my God, I forgot I had that card. Which is another benefit, I think, of what's going on. Don't trade in your high-end cards that are good, guys. Do not. Do not trade your master set. It's in. And they really haven't required that. Like, we haven't had to trade in 85s yet. We do now, but it's still 84s. So we'll see. But yeah, guys, this was a 45-minute episode. There was going to be a lot of complaints about I enjoy, like, you know, sometimes I like the topic that you talk about, but I really just want to hear about Hut. I understand that, guys, but when I'm passionate about something, I like to talk about it. And a lot of you guys at least express that you're very similar in thoughts to me. So it's always nice. I always find it really fun. I just did 45 minutes. It felt like 10. Some days there's where I'm only talking about Hut. 20 minutes feels like 2.5 hours. So I'm curious to hear your feedback if you enjoyed this type. I might be able to go an hour if the topic's good. And if the topic isn't Hut, maybe we start just talking about games in general. I don't know. Maybe that's too ambitious. Anyways, I'll see you guys later on. Have a good one.